Welcome all my lovely ladies. Hi Radha, so good to see you. I'm going to be kind of taking some time to just let us little wind into this as people start joining on. Hi Sunshine Lawrence. I want to take some time to just ground before we get into our coaching call today, and give ourselves a second to just pause from our busy day and just take a second to get grounded in this moment, right? So as we're waiting for everyone to jump on, I'm going to just take a second to guide us through a grounding, just a little meditation. So I just want you to take a second to close your eyes. Take a big deep breath and just feel this moment. Allow yourself to just let go of everything you were doing before this moment and everything you're thinking about doing after this moment. And just take a second to get grounded here in this moment. This is so incredibly important to do, especially for all of us busy ladies that are bouncing around from one thing to the next all the time. See if you can really feel your breath coming into your heart, into your lungs, expanding out your chest. Beautiful. Now I want to take a second for just some gratitude, and I just want you to really connect into a moment of gratitude. And just think about one person that you're really grateful for today in this moment, and just send them some love. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm so excited to be here with all of you today. I'm seeing Danny, Kin, Sunshine, Mara, Christina. Wonderful, wonderful to have you guys on here today. So first off, my gratitude is for my lovely, lovely Lonnie. I absolutely adore her. She has been such an angel to me, coming on board and really being my right-hand woman as I continue to grow, relax, and to love and bring more women into my community. She's just been an absolute godsend. So I'm sending my love and appreciation to her today. And I want to set the intention for this call. We're going to have about, I'd say 30, 45 minutes, depending on how long we have for questions. But my intention for today is to really show up for all of our lovely ladies that have been in the 5-day challenge that has been going on for the last 5-10 days, depending on when you joined on. To really get to just show my face behind the screen and behind the audio lessons that you guys have been listening to and say, hello, I'm here, I'm a real person. And I'm here for you, right? I'm here for you, and I'm here to answer any questions that you have about the challenge, about the topics, and also just about anything in your life around love and relationships that you're looking for some support with. And then at the end of this support call, I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the Attraction Academy, and if that's something that you're interested in, we can talk more about what that would look like for you and if you're the right fit for that. So what I'd like to do, getting started with this, I'm new to doing this on live, but I would love for you, anyone who's watching, to just be able to write in some questions that you have that maybe has been on your mind as you've been going through the 5-day challenge, and I'm happy to start opening it up to live Q&A call. We are going to be doing this as just kind of a digital, you guys ask me questions and I answer, so I won't be able to have you on the screen with me, but hopefully we can still make it feel as personal as possible during that time. So welcome Jenny as well. So go ahead and feel free to type in any questions that you have. Lonnie's done an amazing job so far in actually collecting a bunch of questions ahead of time that women had. So I'm going to start with some of the questions that I've seen come in, and then feel free, like I said, to just engage as much as you can, comment, like, little hearts, whatever feels good to you, and we'll just kind of go from there. Sound good? Give me likes, give me thumbs up, let me know that you're watching and that you're interested. Beautiful. So first question I have here is that, what do you suggest I do when I start getting really nervous before a date? And this is really great. I love that we're just jumping right into it. And this is going to be just kind of popcorn style. So what do you suggest I do when I get nervous before a date? this is super common. And this is something I'm recognizing for women that come to me a lot, is that we tend to get really caught up in our heads, right? The anxiety is no joke. And anxiety is a real thing. And it's something that's actually way more pervasive, as I'm realizing, as I'm coaching women, it's way more pervasive than we think it is. But really, anxiety can be controlled, and it can be actually monitored and lessened and eliminated. It's all about how we manage our mind. And so I'm going to talk about anxiety and nervousness because they kind of go hand in hand, right? Anxiety and nervousness is really a factor of when you get caught up in your mind. So for a lot of us, when we are in our ambitious, driven, masculine energy state, right? We're building our businesses, we're hustling at work, we're doing all the things, and we're very much in our mind. We're going. But what happens when we do that is that when we switch into then going into wanting to be in a relationship or going out on a date, if we come into relationships from our mind starts going crazy because it wants to try and control it, right? It wants to look at it like we would look at any sort of project that we're trying to control or run or do in our career world. And this used to happen to me all the time back in the day before I actually realized what was actually happening. So I would go into a date and I'd be in my mind and he'd ask me, like, oh, how are you doing today? And immediately I'd rattle off like 10 things. Oh, I did this and I did that. And then I, went on the subway and then this happened, right? Like we just start getting into narrative mode. And there's a really big distinction here that I want to talk about. This idea of being a narrator versus being a poet. And this is a really good shift if you are feeling like you're preparing for a date and you're getting nervous, to actually shift you out of your mind and into your heart. Because what men want when they're dating and when they're interacting with you, right, in a dating relationship kind of space, is that they don't want you to be in your mind. Because when we're in our mind, we just start overanalyzing everything and we start trying to move things forward before we've even had a chance to just be, right? Men want us to just be, to just relax, to just be our happy, authentic self. But we can't be our happy, authentic self if we are trying to move the relationship forward or overthink everything, right? So if you start catching yourself being in this narrator kind of place, right? Where you start rattling off just the things and you feel yourself in your head and you feel your mind just going, I want you to really just take a second to pause and breathe, just like we did, right? In this moment, and see if you can actually get into your body. And when you get into your body, your energy naturally calms down. You literally, instead of being up here, you actually ground. You ground your energy. And from that place, when you've grounded your energy, I want you to really think about shifting into being more like a poet and speaking more about how you feel. And I love it. I'm seeing people saying, good question, awesome, totally agree, good. I'm glad this is resonating for you. So I want you to think about this, as I am a poet. When my man in front of me asks me how I'm doing, instead of going into narrator mode, I'm going to go into poet mode. And I'm going to start talking about how I feel. So he says, how are you doing today? And you say, oh, I've been feeling very overwhelmed today, right? Or I've been feeling so wonderful today. This has been such an exciting day. I had all of these wonderful opportunities and it made me feel so warm and fuzzy inside to know that I was going to get to see you tonight. It just really lit up my whole day, right? That has a very different shift in energy than coming into it of like, oh yeah, I've been really looking forward to our date tonight and I've been really busy at work today and right? So that's a little tool I want to add and give you to suggest when you're starting to prepare for a date to really help you shift into a different state of being so that you can really be more present in the moment with your man. So I'm loving all the little hearts, the little likes. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next question. If anyone has follow-up questions, feel free. I'm seeing Radha say, can I open my heart with all men, colleagues, loved ones, married men? Ooh, great question. Great question. The first answer I would say is yes, absolutely. Because really, to be a high-value woman, we want to be open-hearted women. Right? We want to be able to give love to everyone in the world. This is not about holding back our love, holding back who we get to be nice to and who we don't need to be nice to. With that said, it's important to be intentional, right? About what is the intention behind opening my heart. Am I opening my heart with the intention of trying to, charm him in and bring him in? Or am I just opening my heart as a friend to really just give love and just say, I see you as a person and I appreciate you, right? So it's going to be much more about the intentionality. Obviously, with colleague or a married man, probably not going to want to be putting out that charming magnetism kind of goddess essence energy. You're going to want to shift more into the open-hearted, just as a friend mode, right? So I hope that answers your question, Radha. Alyssa Kirby, awesome. I have trouble sometimes getting into my body on a date when I'm feeling really anxious about the relationship. See more. Let's see if I can see more while I'm doing this here. Oh, let me see more. I can't see the rest of it. Oh, there it is. Okay. I have trouble sometimes getting into my body on a date when I'm feeling really anxious about the relationship or about the guy. Breathing doesn't always work in that moment for me because I feel like I can't think in those moments and I can't feel my body. Any suggestions? Breathing doesn't work in that moment for me. I feel like I can't think in those moments and I can't feel my body. I would love for you to be able to elaborate a little bit on that if you can, Alyssa. Breathing doesn't always work as in, okay, breathing doesn't help you get into your body. Okay, so if that's not working for you, there are lots of other things that you can do to help you get into your body. Before the date, if you're not on the date yet, I really recommend doing just some gentle stretching and yoga. Nothing gets me into my body more than doing yoga and actually just literally moving my body, even getting some exercise. If you're on the date or you're with a man and you're finding yourself getting up in your head, obviously you can't just go be like, I need to go do some yoga right now. You can actually take a pause and literally remove yourself from the date and just excuse yourself to go to the bathroom. Just say, hey, you know what? I just need to use the bathroom real quick. Because sometimes it's really more important it's always more important to be intentional in your energy than to try and be half-assing it in the moment or trying to be struggling in the moment, right? So if you're feeling in this like in-between place, just take a second to say, I think I need a second. I think I need to just take a second and go into the bathroom and just do the breathing, right? Or take a second to feel yourself grounded, right? So this is another tool. If you're with the guy and you've already gone to the bathroom a million times, you've already done your breathing, you've already done your yoga, and you're still not able to get into your heart, I want you to take a second to actually just put your hands on your chair and just feel the chair and ground yourself in the ground. And imagine yourself just holding onto the chair and even just feeling the strength of the chair holding you up, right? I know this is a weird thing to think about, but it really just kind of helps you to get physical, like feel your body sitting in this moment. And then what I want you to do is actually lean back and think about having a big zipper over your chest and imagine yourself just unzipping your heart and letting it out and letting it breathe. Because a lot of times we hold a lot of walls and a lot of tension around our heart. And so I want you to imagine unzipping your heart and letting it breathe. And then see if you can physically just lean back. So you're going to be unzipping your heart, breathing, holding onto the chair, and just leaning back and just letting yourself be in this moment. And not try to be leaning in and talking and doing and trying to control where the relationship's going. It's okay if there's silence. It's okay if there's awkwardness. The most important thing is that you are relaxing into the present moment. So let me know if that helps you, Alyssa. Sunshine, awesomeness, thank you for sharing this advice, much needed. Good, I'm really glad to hear that. Keep the questions coming. I'm really loving talking through all these concepts. Alrighty, let's go through the next question that I have here. Oh, here's another one. Okay, very similar to this topic. I tend to stay in my head a lot because I'm worried he won't like me if I don't act a certain way. Will acting in my feminine energy help to stop me doing that? This is great. This is really, really great. This goes into kind of everything we've been talking about. Okay, good. Alyssa says, thank you so much. Yes, that's helpful. I will try those things. Good, good, good. Wonderful. And Lonnie's on. Yay, good to see you, Lonnie. So staying in your head a lot, worrying he won't like me if I act a certain way. Yeah, so this goes into really a lot more around self-love and self-worthiness, right? A lot of times what I notice is that when we go out on dating, even if we've been in a relationship for a little while, it can be very easy to try to start to subconsciously mold ourselves into what we think this man wants, or the way that we think we need to act so that he will like us, so that he'll accept us, or that so he will continue to keep us in his life. And this is the complete opposite reaction of how we really need to be showing up. Because when we're doing that, and a lot of times I know we don't even realize we're doing it, what we're doing is we're literally contortioning ourselves into this like idea of what we think this guy wants, right? He wants someone that's put together and classy and independent and, you know, like not too needy, not emotional. And so we just end up like forgetting kind of who we are as we try and fit ourselves into this mold of what we think he wants from us. Can anyone relate to this? Lonnie says yes. And so when we do that, then we're coming into dates like this and trying to like be our authentic self, just all like just tangled. And this is really, really, really a problem, because then we're not being our authentic self. And then no wonder if things don't go well. It's like, well, of course they didn't go well, because you weren't actually showing him who you really are. So the first thing to realize with this is recognizing that this has way, way, way less to do with attracting the right man and way more to do with feeling comfortable in men's presence in general. Because if you truly feel authentically yourself, like you do with your best friends, like you do with your family, in a man's presence, even in the most gorgeous, most amazing man that you ever wanted to be with, if you can be your true authentic self around him, it completely shifts the dynamic. It completely goes from it being about trying to please him by acting a certain way, and really coming more from a place of having the focus on you and looking at them as, are you going to fit into my life? Are you going to fit into my vision of who I want? Right? Yeah, good. I'm hearing, yes, I used to do this. So powerful. Yes, this is super, super powerful. And it takes practice. It takes a lot of practice, especially if you're not used to doing this. Because we do, our fears get in the way, and our mind chatter gets in the way, and we see this amazing man and we think, oh my God, I'm never ever going to meet another person like this. You know, he's the one, he's got to be the one. But that's not the case. Like, there are an abundance of men out there, and if you really come into dating from a place of abundance and trusting and knowing that there are so many amazing men out there that are really waiting to see your authentic self, then it becomes so much less about being right for them and more about them being right for you. And at the end of the day, it has to be about who's right for you. Because if you do contortion yourself into this amazing man's life and the way he wants you to be, that's not going to be sustainable for the long term, and it's going to fizzle out anyways, right? So it's always coming back to really getting comfortable with who you are and having so much incredible self-confidence and self-love and self-worth, and knowing that you are going to find someone to fit into your life. Yeah. Kathleen, yay, good to see you. Lauren, good to see you on here. Loving it, loving it. Ladies that are just jumping on right now, feel free to type in any questions that you have. Like I said, I'm just kind of going through and answering questions that have come up for ladies that have gone through the 5-day challenge. And as well, if anyone in the community that just wants to have some time with me to ask me questions. This is the teal hot seat. I'm going to start doing this more and more. So anyways, beautiful. I hope that answers your question for the person that put that in. So moving on. Oh, actually, I saw something with Radha. She had mentioned something else. You said with your hands on a date. Radha, if you want to elaborate a little bit more on what you mean by that. But yes, using your hands to just hold yourself in the chair and actually ground yourself in whatever way possible, and then leaning back. It's amazing what physical energy can do to shift the presence with a man. Alrighty, moving on. Other questions here we have. How can I become more attractive to men? I love how all these questions just happen to build on each other. Okay, yeah, Lena says Radha says lean back, yes. Yeah, all these questions are just beautifully building on each other, and they really, I guess they all really do go into, it all flows together. So how do I become more attractive to men? I want to attract a high quality man, but I'm unsure what to do. Yes. So much good stuff to talk about. First thing I want to call out here is that this is actually going to be so much less about what you actually do and so much more about who you get to be. And I'm going to say that again. This question comes from someone that had commented and said, how do I become more attractive to men? I want to attract a high quality man, but I'm unsure about what to do. So this is way less about what to do and way more about who you get to be. And this was a radical shift for me. When I actually realized this, it changed everything, right? It's the shift from being in that masculine energy presence to being in more of a feminine energy presence. And for those of you who are new to learning about feminine energy and masculine energy, this is something I teach on extensively. But at the core of it, it's about moving out of our mind and into our heart, and moving out of the action-oriented doing space that we're so comfortable being in, and moving more into the actual being state of just being our beautiful presence, right? So I want you to imagine it because a lot of people are being present is a very foreign concept, or it's really uncomfortable to do. And I like to think about it in terms of when are you just really being in a beautiful state of being? And they talk about this when you're meditating, you're just really being present. A lot of times when you are making love with somebody, you're very much just in that moment of being present. If you're not too much in your head about it. Going on runs can be in a very much beautiful place of just being, right? It's in a state where you're not in your mind, you're not thinking, you're just experiencing the moment. A lot of times when we're laughing, right? We're laughing or we're giggling or making jokes, we're very much just in the moment. And this is the beautiful place that is feminine energy. It's a place of being. And when you're in your being state of being in your heart, you allow so much more in. Because a lot of times our mind acts as a huge barrier. And I almost want to think about it literally a barrier like this. Imagine you have this wall that blocks between your mind and your heart. So your mind is great. It is a tool, but it is not you. It is a tool. So your mind is always going, right? And it's working and it's doing all the things and it's making you this successful person. But when we get into the presence of wanting to connect and wanting to have a heart connection, we can't have a heart connection when we are in our brain, right? It has to come from our heart. And so if we're trying to approach relationships and having intimacy and heart connection from our mind, that's when we just butt heads with men. Because men naturally come into relationships from their mind as well. And that's what they're looking for in a partner, is a woman to actually help bring them into their heart. So we can't bring them into their heart so that we can both have a heart-to-heart connection unless we are getting into our heart. So give me thumbs up, give me some love if this is all resonating for you. And if it's not, write some questions in there so that I can clarify. But this is a really, really important concept. And so to be able to answer this question, to be able to attract a high-quality man, it's not going to be about what you're doing. It's going to be about how you're being around him. So if you're coming from a place of being in your heart, being in that just complete open space where you are open and curious and just happy and overflowing with your own self, right? It's much easier for him to be able to relax in your presence because you're relaxed in your presence. You're not overthinking things. You're just relaxed in your presence. And so as he relaxes into his presence, you're literally through your energy sharing with him, I'm comfortable being myself. And I love being myself. And in that space, I accept you to be comfortable being yourself, right? And from that place is where you can really start to create that heart-to-heart connection. So that's what I would say for this question about attracting high-quality men. High-quality men are waiting for you, my dears. They really, really are. And if you have one, congratulations. Let's keep them around. Let's keep them around by not overthinking things and not trying to push too much forward, right? Keep leaning back and staying in that energy of just creating and being curious and wonder and openness, right? Lana says, right, we need to connect with our heart to make those stronger heart connections. Yes, yes. Sunshine, yay, good, good. Loving this, loving this. Lauren says, what are your thoughts on boundaries? Ooh, yeah, good topic. Sometimes I feel a bit controlling, so I'm not sure where the line is. Yes, I did a really great video on boundaries. I'm really excited to talk about it. Boundaries is one of the most powerful things I think that we can really start to master. And I'm really surprised that it's not taught as much as it should be in this day, right? Most things, that's okay. That's where I come in. So there's a difference between being controlling and having boundaries, but you're right, the line is kind of confusing. So I want you guys to think about boundaries as your container of safety. And boundaries and needs are very similar, right? Boundaries and needs are the things that allow you to feel safe, secure, and so that you can relax. Great question, Lauren. Yes. So it's extremely important to have boundaries, right? Because we need to know that we have a container that we know we are safe and we can relax. So this would be things like, I need to know that I can trust you, that, you know, if you're going out with your friends, you're not going to be hitting on other girls, or if I am just meeting you, that I know that you are going to, you know, you're going to be honest with me, and you're not going to lie. Like, these are just basic needs and boundaries so that you can feel safe to be yourself. So that is important to have. And if a lot of women are afraid to even express those boundaries and those needs for fear of seeming needy or seeming like you've got too many constrictions, right? But they're when you think about it, if they're basic needs, and you can think about basic needs of like, if I were to apply this to a best friend, or if I were to apply this to a family member, would those feel like basic needs, or would that feel like something really out of the ordinary to ask a best friend? If that feels like a normal thing that you would ask a friend in terms of a basic need, then you can know that that's a basic need for a relationship as well. When you get into a place of being controlling, I think that comes into a place of expectations and a lot of fear. So I'd be curious, Lauren, if you have specific things that you feel controlling around, because I would ask you to explore it and see if there's a deeper fear underneath it. Controlling comes from a place of wanting to feel safe and wanting to feel like you can hold on to something and have something be confirmed and validated. And unfortunately, relationships, that there's a lot that there just goes into that place of trust, and you have to surrender and let go for it to be able to flow. If you try and hold on too tight, you're going to suffocate it, right? It's kind of like sand, or water. You can't hold on to water. You can't try and control water, just like love. You can't kind of hold on to love. You just have to let it flow, right? And create the container to hold it. So that's what we're doing. So if you're trying to control the love, then I'm guessing there is something that you're feeling deeper down that you're not feeling safe about or not feeling secure about. And so I would ask you to just ask yourself, why do I feel the need to control this? And what may I be afraid of? What fear might be lurking below the surface here? And what is that fear trying to tell me? And I'll kind of talk through a little bit about emotions. Emotions are so incredibly powerful, but yet a lot of times we're really afraid to actually talk about our emotions. But emotions are just indicators, and they're just trying to communicate something that doesn't feel right or feels out of alignment. So Lauren says, for example, my fiance loves watching football, as do I, at his family's house. Let me open this up. I ask that we leave at halftime my bedtime. Okay. So you're feeling like you don't want to be watching football at his family's house, and you want to leave at halftime because I'm guessing you get bored of football or you get tired. Okay, so there's two things here. Why do you feel that, why do you feel like you want to leave? Is it that you want to leave because you want attention from him? Or is it because you honestly are just bored with football? Or is it that you are, I guess that would be my first question, is like, why do you feel that you want to leave, and do you have to leave with him? Is this something that you feel like you can let him do his thing and say, I'll meet you back home? It's sounding like you said your bedtime, so I'm guessing you're just getting tired at this point and you want to go home. So this sounds like values. This sounds like values, and really making sure that you guys are getting in alignment around values, because you're right, you don't want to be controlling how he gets to live his life. If we try and start telling him how he gets to live his life, then he's going to end up resenting you, and that's not a good foundation for starting things. So if he has a value of watching football with his family, but that's not a value of yours, then that's just something to recognize that you guys maybe don't share together. Ooh, I like that. I would like it if he came with me. That's part of the control part. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Good. I'm glad this is helping you. Yeah, so there's a part here where you're feeling like you want to have some attention from him, but he's not wanting to give the attention to you. He's wanting giving the attention to the TV and the football, and that doesn't feel good to you. But recognize that he has a different value here. And it sounds like if he's doing it at his family's house, this is also part of the value of being with his family. And that's important, right? So recognizing that, okay, I don't have a value of watching football, but obviously this is something that's important to him. And so is this something that we need to share and do together? Or do I just give him this space to go and be him and do his thing? Or if it's something that really, really bothers you, I would ask you, why do you feel that it bothers you? And have a conversation with him about that based on what you understand about what it is that bothers you about it. Yeah. All right, good, beautiful. I'm glad that worked for you. Ladies that are jumping on, Michael, I'm sorry if I botched your name, and Yuo. Great to have you guys on. Welcome. I am just going through and answering questions. Wow, the time is flying. I can't believe it's almost been 40 minutes. Feel free to type in any questions that you have. I'm going on, doing the hot seat today. I'm going to answer probably 2 more questions, and then I'm going to kind of transition over into talking about kind of next steps and things like that. So if you have any burning questions, please make sure to type them in now. Alrighty, so I've got another one here. Ooh, okay, good. This is a self-love, self-care one. I get so busy with work and business stuff. How do you make it easier to schedule in time with yourself? I love this. I love this. And I want to talk about self-care and self-love because this term gets thrown around all the time, and I feel like a lot of people have no idea what it actually means to love themselves. Can anyone agree? Give me some little thumbs up and loves if you agree with that. Self-love is such an important topic, and it really goes in with feminine energy and attracting the right kinds of men and keeping the right kinds of men in your life, because I want you to think about it like being a cup and having your cup either be half full, medium full, or fully full, right? And overflowing with full. If we are not taking that time to continuously fill up our cup, then we are coming into relationships with everyone, really, from a place of being half full, which means depleted. And what happens when we do this is that we end up starting resenting people, even though they've done nothing wrong. We actually start getting mad at them because we're thinking, gosh, I'm feeling so drained. I'm feeling so frustrated because these people are needing so much from me, right? But if you were to approach those same people from a place of being overflowing, it doesn't feel like they're taking from you because you're already just overflowing with your own self-care and self-love, right? And so this is really, really important to make sure that you're prioritizing, and it's really, really easy to put it last on the list because there are so many other demands on our time. So, and hi Sherry, good to see you on here. It's really, really easy to lose prioritization with this. And so what I do is I put it honestly as the very first thing in my day, always. As soon as I wake up, I give myself a little morning routine. And I know there's a lot of talk about morning routines, but they are extremely powerful ways to start the day to ensure that you're giving yourself the time that you need to get yourself in the right headspace. So for me, I make my coffee, I sit by myself. Spence knows, don't talk to Teal for the first hour. That's her time to herself. And I have my coffee and I take some time to just journal and check in with how I'm feeling for the day and how I'm feeling after waking up. Because a lot of times we'll go to bed after having a huge busy day, right? And then we sleep and it just puts it all on pause. And then we wake up the next morning, and if we're not very intentional about checking in on how we're feeling, we just carry all the energy and feeling from the day before into the next day. And a lot of times if we weren't feeling good the last day, we're just carrying that same energy into the day again. And that can mean that you're just setting yourself up for being in a half full kind of day, right? And then guess what happens? It happens again, because now you're coming in from a place of depletion, and you're coming into the day and there's the demands of the day coming on you and people needing things. And so it becomes even less full, right? You start emptying. And if you continue this long enough without checking in with yourself, you end up actually becoming completely depleted. Can anyone relate? Completely depleted. And then you're just wiped. You're just wiped and you can't do anything, and it's really hard to then get back up full again, right? So the intention here with self-love and self-care is about taking that time in the morning, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes, to really be intentional about how you're feeling and checking in with yourself, whether that's meditating, whether that's doing a little journaling, whether that's taking a little morning walk. Another amazing tool I have is I use my phone and I'll put on the voice recorder and I'll put it up to my ear so it looks like I'm talking to somebody so I don't look like a crazy person. And I'll take a walk and I'll just talk to myself, and I'll just actually talk and say, oh gosh, Teal, I'm feeling so blah, 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 as if I were talking to my best friend. And I'll really just allow myself to check in with myself as if I were checking in with my best friend. Because let's face it, we are our own best friends, right? So this is a really, really powerful tool to be able to help you to just kind of talk through what you're feeling so that you can make sure you're being very intentional about how you're stepping forward into your day. So that is what I would recommend with scheduling in time for yourself, is that really make that time in the morning or in the evening, whatever's better for your schedule, or throughout the day, whenever you feel like you have a good time that works for you. And just take that time to just check in and see how you're feeling. And then if you're not in a place of feeling good, either reach out to a friend, reach out to me, look at YouTube videos for inspirational videos. I've got a ton of great resources for YouTube videos to help you start getting into a better place, a better feeling place, right? Yeah. So many good things. Rada, okay, one last question. Teal, I have a colleague who chases me for 2 days and he's married and I don't know why. How can I act with tact? Okay, let me see if I can internalize this question a little bit more. I have a colleague who chases me for 2 days and he's married. Okay, and I don't know why. How can I act with tact? Sounds like you've got a lot of beautiful feminine energy and he's picking up on it. Feminine energy can be really powerful. I know, I always joke with my clients, you're going to be batting away men with a stick. I literally feel that way. I'm like, please go away, with peace, with love. Sounds like you've got a case of that going on. So she's laughing. Yes. No, but it's a serious thing, right? It's a serious thing. And we don't want to be leading men on, especially married men. If he's been chasing you down, men are very, very perceptive to friendliness and to open-heartedness. And so it sounds like he's been definitely picking up on your open-heartedness and taking that as an invitation. So what I would recommend in a way of speaking at it with tact is I would acknowledge it and be a mature adult about it. And the next time that he says something that doesn't make you feel good, let him know respectfully that you're not interested in his intentions, and that you recognize that he's married and that you feel uncomfortable with the way that he's acting with you. And it always comes back to just communicating how you feel. If you are communicating how you feel without making them wrong or accusing them or attacking them, then he can't ever take offense to that. If you're really just saying, I just want to let you know, I appreciate all of your kindness and all of your gestures, but it makes me feel uncomfortable, right? It makes me feel weird knowing that you're married, that you are treating me this way. I appreciate the generosity, the love, the interest, but it makes me feel uncomfortable, and I would appreciate it if you stop, right? That's usually the best way to approach these things, is to really come from your heart and speak from your feelings without accusing him. And then if he continues to address it and continues to go further, then we can talk about how to actually be more firm about it. And that's when you do actually have to kind of put up some of those boundaries, some of those walls, and actually close off that beautiful energy a little bit more so that he doesn't feel so much magnetism to you. Good. I'm glad that worked for you. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Any final questions before I kind of wrap up here for this session? This has been really awesome. Amazing having you all ladies on here. I hope this has been helpful. It sounds like it has. You can add in any last questions, but what I want to do now is just kind of transition into talking a little bit about the Attraction Academy. This is something I am so excited about. We already have 2 ladies signed up. I've got 2 more spots left for the October class. And if this has been something that you've been kind of interested about or curious about or not sure if this is the right fit for you, I'm going to talk a little bit about it. And if you are interested in learning more, I'm opening up my calendar for the rest of this week to get on breakthrough calls to just talk through and see if you're the right fit for it. I'm very, very selective about the women that I choose to bring into these programs because it's a very tight-knit, intimate sisterhood. And it is phenomenal to see the power that these programs bring together. I really culminate this beautiful collection of women from around the world that come together on these calls. And what we do is we go through for 8 weeks, having live coaching once a week, just like this, but with actual video calls. And in between the 8 weeks of calls, each of the ladies are going through a series of audio lessons that I've put together and built out that I call the Embody the Feminine Masterclass. And this is my 6-step approach to really helping you to step into your feminine energy and really step into being that high-value goddess, queen, woman that you know you are inside, and helping that energy to be able to attract men into your life or be able to help continue cultivating the right kind of relationship for you. And so this is something that I have been taking women through this for the last 1.5 years, and it's been incredible to see the transformations that have come through women going through this 8-week masterclass together. So if this is something that you're interested in, I really, really encourage you to just get on a call with me and we can chat more about it and see if it feels like a good fit for you as well. So I'm going to be putting that link. Actually, Lonnie, do you mind typing in the link to my scheduler so that people can go ahead and schedule a call with me? And Stacy's jumping on, nice. And Alyssa mentioned, do you have any lower cost options for those of us on a limited budget? I want to jump in so much to see if this works, but I can only afford so much per month. totally understand that, Alyssa. What I would recommend, let's hop on a call together and chat. I would really, really love to meet you in person, and we can definitely talk about payment plan options or other options for you so that you can still get access to the materials. I do offer the course on its own as a standalone product if you would like to just go through it on your own. But if you'd like the coaching from me as you go through it, I'm happy to work out a payment plan that feels right to you. So, and that goes for everyone. Anyone that wants to kind of check it out and see if it feels good, I'm more than happy to make it work for a payment plan that feels good to you. So, like I said, I have 2 more spots left. I'm opening up my schedule for the rest of this week. Lonnie's put the link in the for my scheduler right there in the link there, so you can go ahead and click and pick a spot that works for you. But with that, I'm going to wrap up. This has been absolutely lovely. I'm so glad for everyone that joined on. And for those ladies that are watching after this live recording too, happy to have you here. And I really hope that we can stay in touch and that I get to eventually meet each one of you face to face. And in the meantime, please stay connected in the Facebook community. Lonnie's doing an amazing job just keeping it a place that we can continue learning and cultivating and growing together. And I'm going to be hopping on here about once a month to do these kinds of live calls. So you can look forward to that for the future. But once again, shoot me a DM if you have anything else you want to follow up with. But for now, sending you love. Have a wonderful day.